All right, you ready? Oh, are we doing reads today? You want to do reads? Let's do reads tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't even have them.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
I guess on my phone.
Tomorrow will be the one we do. All right, ready, roll? Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Daily Pods, day 2.
Day number 2.
Day 2.
So
last year they won a month. We'll see.
So, all right. I have found the reason to believe.
Oh, look at this.
I have the positive sign.
So this is this week's A.J. Brown press conference?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
good.
better.
Good.
It's better.
I bet it better be
Yeah,
better.
it's better. Okay. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
How many times since the season started do you think I've driven into the office? So keep in mind the season start. If you want to use
You're
training
talking
camp,
like all the, because you go back and forth. You'll come multiple times a day.
Yeah,
and stuff
like over 100.
Oh, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
right?
I
I
was
would
going to
say.
say probably closer to like 250 or something like that. Is that
Yeah.
too much?
No,
I mean,
well,
think about it.
you
If
figure
it's like
4 months, that would be
you've
almost
done-
every single day.
Yeah, but you've done, like, you'll go in, you'll come in the morning, do this, then you'll go home, then you'll come back at like 4, you're on at
Right.
4 today, that kind of stuff, so, or
Right.
3 today, excuse
So,
me.
Lots of times.
Yeah, 200, 150, whatever.
All right, so if you remember when the Eagles season started, I said to you, I saw this person walking, and it was a sign that football is back. Do you remember who that person was?
I don't. I vaguely remember this happening, but I can't pull
Okay.
it. Okay.
So when the Eagles season started, and they had a great training camp, and they were 10-1, I saw somebody walk when it was beginning. I saw Ray Didinger.
Oh, I remember this in Rittenhouse. I
Yep.
do remember this. Okay.
So today, I'm driving in. Haven't seen him since. Not seen him. I have not seen him a single time walking.
Not once.
Right? Today, the playoffs begin. I saw Ray Didinger.
You're right. This is a much better
This is
reason.
good, right? It's
AJ.
like, like if you see this, if you see like it was Groundhog's Day
There
or
you
like a
go.
bird or
There you
something. I
go.
feel like Ray Didinger has reemerged.
Well, we need that. Anything
Yeah.
we can get. Red could
Yeah.
definitely help.
So last time I saw Ray,
I thought it was going to be some sort of teams that have lost 5 away.
No. I'll come up with something like that by
I
Friday.
bet you will.
But for right now, it's a positive.
I'm really excited. So look at this.
It's good, right?
What a great start to the day.
Yeah, I feel like you should feel encouraged by this.
So excited.
Yeah.
We're going to win now.
The other thing, I talked to Tucker about this. This
Ooh.
will be live podcast.
Shout out to Tucker.
Yeah. So we
Tucker,
had like a
our
bunch
producer.
of comments.
You can't see him, but he's here.
We had a bunch of comments yesterday during the thing.
Ooh.
I think Tucker should read them during the show.
Love it.
Right? Just
Fully
wanted
in.
to give you that heads
Yeah.
up if he wants to jump
Be
in.
nice to make Tucker actually do something, instead of just hanging
Every
out
once
while
in
we're
a while. He
recording.
just looks nice all the time. Nice Phillies jacket he had. I mean,
Tucker does.
he's got a
yeah,
WrestleMania shirt
yeah,
on
he looks
today.
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
I literally just open up my thing that keeps my sweatshirts and just grab whatever sweatshirt is on top
Must be
each
so
day.
nice.
That's it. I literally jeans, sweatshirt.
Did
and
you
a
turn the
t-shirt,
light
whatever
on when
t-
you get dressed in the morning?
So I
Now keep in mind,
inside
again,
baseball
you wake
here.
up at 3 or whatever.
I keep my clothes outside the bedroom, so I don't wake
On the
Emily up
floor?
by getting. We have a little like a table in the
Right, right.
hallway, so I put them on there, so I can like slink out of the room real quick. Go, I get dressed in the bathroom, I brush my teeth in the shower, and all the good
So
stuff.
yeah, I would say the mornings where I get up before Kristen. So our way our bedroom is like obviously lights off while we're sleeping. Then we have a bathroom that's attached. I go in there, turn that light on, turn the light off before I leave, come back.
Yeah, there's a very also like 3:30 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Like it
Yeah,
is
sure,
a very
I'm-
different. Yeah.
Well, there's times I get up early for flights, but yes.
Yes.
I-
No, I just mean in general.
right.
It's
a different level of
Yes,
early.
like Emily will like maybe like 2 times a month she'll like get up to go to the bathroom, or
Right.
once in a long while make a noise and wake her up, but usually I don't. And like every single time she'll wake up when I get up, she will say something to the effect of, how the hell do you go to work right now? Like
That's
this
absurd.
is crazy.
It's absurd.
Yeah,
It's very early.
It is. It's
Almost-
so early.
it's
It's
very
so early.
Almost a year.
Almost a year,
Yeah,
yeah,
almost a
coming
year.
up. Look at
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Remember,
yeah.
remember the first day when I found out on you and I
We did
on
that.
your roof? We had some
Yep.
champagne. That was one of
Well,
my favorite
tequila.
days. Tequila,
Yeah,
that was a great day.
Well, hopefully we'll have something else to celebrate.
Yeah,
for
right.
the year
yes.
anniversary.
All right, let's get into and again, look, daily pods. We get a lot. We had a lot to say yesterday. Probably
Yeah.
less today, but I want to get to like with the blitz pickup thing has been a
Right.
big thing. There are a few things in the locker room where they're at, but I want to quickly start with Nick because he was on the show today, and our topic on the show was a lot about do you think he's coaching for his job on Sunday?
Right.
And I know we made our points clear yesterday. We are both on team do not fire Nick Sirianni.
Yes.
I can't believe how many people want to fire him.
It's absurd.
Like I am, and I know that it has been a rough month and a half, but it's been a month and a half.
Yep.
And it's the first sign of failure since the guy first started and had failure and then fixed it and then almost won the Super Bowl.
They would be firing him at the first chance they get.
Exactly.
Because
And
they
it's
weren't
just-
going to fire him 5 games in.
And I know it's gotten really bad right now, but like, I'm floored by this. I know you made the point about McDaniel. Great point. Doug Peterson, 8-3, blows it. Doesn't make the playoffs. Like okay. So here's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
You're around the team. You know this team is better than anybody. You're there. Like, forgetting what the fans say, because we know that everyone's angry and all that. Like, how realistic is it? Do you think he might actually get fired? Because like I just can't believe that they would fire him. But when it's one of those things where everyone is saying fire him, it's hard to like not get wrapped up in the possibility of it happening.
I don't know like what percentage I would give. I would just say I think it's realistic. Wow. I think it is realistic.
Wow.
I agree. Like I am, and it's tough because like I very much have my opinion. Like I would not fire him.
Same. Yes.
Right. But like when I talk to people that I think would have like information on the real chance, like they're very, very critical of the coaching. Like I am surprised actually, like when I talk to people that I like that feel that they're just critical of the coaching. And I'm trying to separate my opinion from it. And like when I remove my opinion, I can look at it and say like they do look like a sloppily coached team.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
No doubt.
Like as much as I've defended the offensive scheme, like for sure a lot of people think it's bad. So there's probably something to that too, right? Like I have my opinion on it, but a lot of people think the offensive scheme is bad. And they have collapsed. Like they have,
no question about that.
Like, now, granted, like,
and it's gotten worse and worse and
it's
worse.
Gotten worse.
Like it's one thing to lose to the Niners and Cowboys and get drubbed, but those are at least good football teams. Then you blow the game in Seattle, which sucks. But it's like, all right, that drive, you know. But then you go and you beat the Giants barely, but to lose to Arizona and then obviously a Giants game, which I do think we nailed on it yesterday. I do think that the team was not in for that game, which is a whole another thing.
Chime in real quick.
But I mean, it's gotten worse as it's gone on, and the quality of opponent they're losing to is worse and worse. It's wild to me that a month can change things so aggressively.
Well, so two things. One, I think there's a lot of talk of like, is the locker room out on Nick? I actually think like there's a bit of projecting happening from fans. I think fans are out on Nick.
Very clearly.
And they're projecting that as the locker room being out on Nick. I don't sense that players dislike Nick or like they're not trying hard for him. I mean, Jalen Hurts like essentially broke his finger and went back into game. I mean, they are trying, I still think, for Nick. And so when I do the Jordan Mailata, it's called the Players Lounge, but it's been Mailata almost every week. I did the Brandon Graham show as a host. I listen to that every week. Like, I get zero sense they don't like Nick or that they're out on Nick or that they don't trust Nick or anything like that. That's the sense I get. And, like, I know that the A.J. Brown meeting where they're saying the message was, like, you have to trust the coaches. I don't know if that was about a sense of a wide sense disbelief in the coaches. Let me throw this theory by you. Do you think he's talking to Jalen?
Well, so this was going to be my next question. My next question, I just asked you, hey, you know, forgetting what people are saying, being around the team in your feel, my next question would be about Jalen. And that next thing of like, look, we've had reports for the first time on Jalen too about the leadership stuff and that, you know, he's too quiet or he doesn't give certain players what they need from him and all that. How much of this do you think is?
I think there's truth
to that as well.
I definitely think there's truth to that, 100%. So I just wonder, like, I don't think the locker room has quit on anybody. To be clear, I think they believe in Nick. I think they like Jalen.
I mean, they might just be tired. You know? It's like to see like they've run out of steam against a tough schedule and coming out of the Super Bowl. Like I think they just are kind of cooked.
That's most of it.
And it's hard when you have no answers and you like are trying and not succeeding for a number of reasons. Like it's hard to like summon up the will to keep trying as hard.
I mean, you figure they've tried to fix this, and I know that people are gonna be like, "Well, it's their job," and like they've tried to fix this every day for 18 weeks and have been unable to do it. Like that has to. Like you can be the most professional, hardworking. Like that has to be. Just
what am I gonna say here? What am I gonna say?
Athletes are human.
They're human beings. Like they are not robots sent out there to play sports for us. Like they're gonna feel this stuff. It's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna lead to more frustration. And it's not an excuse. I'm just trying to. I feel like what we're all doing right now with this whole Nick thing is we're just trying to get to the bottom of it. We're trying to understand, like, how did something that we thought was this become something that is way, way less than that? And I think that, you know, obviously I understand why people dig for the things they dig for, but, like, the simplest explanation is they just kind of ran out of steam and they're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's probably what it is.
And I do think the defensive side of the ball is
a disaster.
Is a complete mess.
I've been saying this for 2 months. I said it's their fatal flaw.
They're way worse now than they were.
They were, but it was one of those things where it felt like it was getting worse. Like it didn't feel like it was getting better.
What I've been thinking about since yesterday, so I did the Jordan Mailata thing last night, and 2 things. One, I kind of like asked him a question being like, how much of this was like maybe you guys, knew you weren't going to play along? Like my sense I got from like multiple answers from him is I think the players went into that game really wanting to have it.
That's not great.
No, I agree.
Not
ideal,
great. Yeah.
So
But
why I can sit here and be like, hey, they knew they were going to come out. They didn't think Dallas was going to lose. Like the sense I got from Jordan and the sense I got from the players throughout the week was they wanted to play well.
And I'm sure they did, but then it's also, again, being humans, you see Fletcher Cox sat for rest. You
Yeah.
see, obviously Devontae's not playing,
Yeah,
but
that could be it.
like you look and you're like, all right, well, they're not really fully in
And
on this game.
I-
It's possible. And again, it's no excuse. Like, you can't put that on the field in that
Right.
spot. Like, you can't put it on the field in that spot. It's not an excuse. Again, we're just trying to understand it.
Well, and Ike brought up a good point. If like maybe after AJ got hurt, they were just mentally like,
Yo, let's get out of this healthy.
field,
It's
exactly.
really, that's a
Like-
great point by
like
it.
that could be it.
Certainly possible.
But the sense I got from Jordan was like a disappointment of how they played.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, like, look, I believe Jordan's very honest, but like at the same time, you're on the radio, you're on the stage. I understand you want to portray, like, you want to try to echo
Yeah,
what the fans
sure.
are feeling. But I got a genuine sense of like, man, I wish we would have played better.
Yeah.
No,
No, sure.
But the main kind of takeaway I have from it is like, dude, what is going on with this locker room? Like, what in the world is happening here? I've never covered a team where there was this much talk of how bad the locker room was at this point of the season so openly. I mean, again, Brandon Graham says something to the effect of like, we only have to be coworkers, we don't have to be friends.
Which is wild.
They're
I mean, Fletcher Cox says what's going on here in the locker room is scary.
Like,
He said with this team. He said what's going on
yeah.
with this team is scary. Was the word he
they
said.
have the escape room thing, which like I respect, but is a little like red flaggy.
Yeah,
right?
the players only meeting. Donovan was
players
on
only
with
meeting,
afternoon show yesterday, and I thought it was a really interesting answer from Donovan. He literally said, "Players only meetings at this point of the season don't work." Like
then-
flat out. He's
yeah,
like they don't. It's
I
like
agree.
a last ditch gasp for something.
It just feels like, and so Jordan last night says something to the effect of, he just gave an answer that made it seem like the locker room culture could be better. I forget the exact wording, but it was something along those lines. And I'm just like, what in the world happened to this team?
Yeah.
I know winning cures all, and like it can be a deodorant for sure. And I'm sure behind the scenes last year, like there were times AJ wasn't having
Yeah, we talked.
the
Yeah.
ball. Like I'm sure Jalen was similar last year to how he was this year, right? Like last
they
year
were winning, and he's
last
playing
year
great.
his
yeah.
stoicness was like an amazing trait. This
Yeah.
year it's I get that, right? But like, I mean, you
It's gone
obviously
so far.
you've been in the media for
Sure.
as long as I've been covering the team, pretty much. Like, can you remember a time where there was this much talk of how bad and like what is it?
Well,
That's
I certainly can't remember something that we thought was not just that we didn't think it was bad, that we thought was a strength of the team
right.
turning like this quickly. Like, if you had asked us 6 weeks ago, what's one of the best things about this team? Oh, it's the culture, man.
100%.
It's the connectivity.
They're
it's
tough. They win.
I
They're
always
relentless.
think, like the whole and it was hokey at first, but then when it works, you're like, yeah, you know what? Like,
Yeah.
there is no bigger motivation than loving that dude next to you.
Yes.
That's the thing that I would fight for the most. And it's true, but it's like, how does it go from that to like, do they all hate each
Well,
other?
I think it. So I think
it's just losing.
I think it's still true. I just don't think they love each other.
Yeah,
Like I think Nick
obvious,
is
yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Like,
I think his point is correct, but I
Yes.
agree. I think this group just clearly
right.
not
Like
love each other.
when he says the biggest motivation is like your teammate. Like I agree with that.
So then, hold up. Then is it just winning last year and losing this year, or like
I don't.
what? I mean, like was T.J. Edwards super important in the locker room? Was this or that? Like, I mean, you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Like,
No,
what?
yeah.
What is it from this perspective, the culture perspective? The only thing that feels super different is that they're losing now, and that's why it feels like
Yeah, I don't have an answer. Like I've been thinking about it like almost nonstop since last night. I've been thinking about it a lot over the last few weeks. Like I don't know what it is. Like I'm hesitant to like guess because I think it's unfair to a sense. But like I don't know. Like are all the Georgia guys like we talked about before?
Are they
this
like a clique or something.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is. The sense I get is that it's a really bad environment in there, and I don't know why. Because individually they all seem like great guys.
Wonderful guys.
Brandon, great guy. Jason Kelsey, great guy. Devontae seems awesome. AJ seems awesome. Reddick has been really like. Maybe Reddick's upset about his money. Like maybe that's part.
Let me ask you a question because you just brought up the old guys and some of the others. Jody Cameron brought this up today. I thought it was an interesting thought, and maybe it's something you've felt.
Right.
Do you think there's a disconnect between like the veterans and the younger guys? He was like an interesting thought where because we had BG on, and BG is the most positive person in the world,
Right.
and I love it. Like, but he was very much like they're gonna. He's like, he kept saying, I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna do this.
No, I know. I've heard
and
him
Joe
say
was
this,
basically like, well, I love that, but like. are the rest of the guys going to do that? And he's like, they're going to feel me. Like, he's like,
Right.
I'm going to. And it's one of those things where I like appreciate that. But is it possible that they don't feel Brandon, or they're not listening, or they're not recepting the messages that Kelsey and him and these guys are this leadership council, especially because Jalen is a quiet leader, as we know.
Right.
Like, is it possible that there's a disconnect between the leadership
I
and the
mean,
other guys?
I don't know. Maybe some of the young defensemen are like, we did it one way at Georgia. Like, I don't know, but we've been around Brandon. Like, he's a very popular guy that's likable.
Totally.
I can't imagine.
And I'm not saying they don't like him. I'm saying that is there a disconnect where it's like when we hear Brandon on the radio, even when he like right now when he's Mr. Positive, there are a lot of people listening going like, come on, man. Like, that's cool. I love it, Brandon. But like, come on, dude. Like, really? Are there guys in the locker room being like, all right, BG, like, cool, man. Like, I love you, bro. But like, come on.
Maybe.
Like, is that possible?
I guess it's possible. Like, I've got no indication of that being the issue in the locker room. But like, Kelsey, I think, is a great leader. Fletcher, I think, is a great leader. And also, for what it's worth, like, I've seen Fletcher, like, I think
Fletcher's been
Jalen
great
Carter,
this year,
like, a Phillies game. Like, I think they've been very, like, get to know the young players type of thing and, like, try to lead. I don't think that's it. I just wonder if they're all super frustrated, and as a result, they're just all in a
and
bad
they're just
mood,
beat down, and they're tired. And
Yeah.
look, they went to Super Bowl and lost. We've talked about that stat. 31% of teams make the playoffs next year in that situation. Then on top of that, they had the hardest schedule we've ever seen the Eagles team have, including a gauntlet where it kind of fell apart.
Right.
Like, it's, again, not excuses, but if I'm trying to diagnose what I think happened, I think they've run out of steam. Like, this team feels tired. They feel beat up. They feel like they have no more answers. And it's like, I don't know if you could fix that in the moment.
So I also wonder, we've talked a lot how, like, me and you are, like, attaboy guys, right?
Big
Like,
time.
right? Like, we need, like, leaned on and loved on more than,
And
like,
some
yelled
don't.
at. And some don't. I do wonder if Jalen has it in him to do, like, the compassionate, like, talking. Like, he feels, and I think it's what's great about him in a way.
Very
He's
serious.
very robotic,
Yeah.
very, like sheltered, maybe isn't the right word, but he's been, like, having the spotlight on him for forever. Alabama, Oklahoma, big high school in Texas. Like, so I think he's very, like, buttoned up, and the players will say behind the scenes he's not like that. But I do wonder, like, where is Jalen's culpability?
Well, sure, I think it's both him and Nick. Well, I think this is a them thing. With Nick, you could flip it around and say, to the point you just made, like, can Nick do the other thing? He could do the attaboys. We know that people love him, and he could, like, can Nick be the disciplinarian? Can he? Because he's always call me. We're friends. Like, can he really get on them? I don't know. We've seen him get fired up and stuff like that. I get that. But like, look, and there's a different specific thing, but the Javon Hargrave interview that's making the rounds right now.
About that.
You know, talking about how, like, he's like, what's the big difference there? And he's like, culture's great. He's like, we work a lot harder here. You know, it's a lot tougher physically, practice, all that. There's a lot more. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is something to Nick's program where it's like, and I do think they hold guys accountable. They've talked about that stuff, the Zach Ertz thing where he said they put the numbers in practice. Like, I'm not saying I don't think Nick's soft, but is it possible that he because he's so friendly with the guys that he can't go that extra level to be like a true, dick to them when they need it.
And look, they are a sloppy team.
No doubt.
So, like, I mean, maybe that's part of it.
Like the taskmaster part of it.
But I think what's alarming about all the things that are said and, like, coming out is, remember in 2017, there was, like, a fight with Darren Sproles and Carson.
Yeah, sure.
And, like, we had no idea that.
No, we know.
And we view 2017 as, like,
that was the ultimate.
The beacon of locker room culture.
Always will be.
They were literally fighting each other at the end of the season.
Now, to be fair, those were two guys who were not. They were fighting in the training room. You know what I mean? It's a different thing than being part of that group of team. But I know what you're saying.
And
like,
Ike and Hugh, and I imagine Richie says this too, but I'm just around Ike and Hugh more, so I hear them say it. Like, things happened when they played. It just never got out. I think what's so surprising to me is, like, it's not surprising to me that they're unhappy. Like, I thought A.J. Brown made a good point when he said, yeah, my body language it looks disappointed. Everyone in the stadium looks like that. And I know he's a professional, so, like, he's, in theory supposed to, like, button up and not look like that. But, like, I think they feel how the fans feel. I think they feel like, what in the world is going on? We are better than this. How is this falling apart? I can't believe we're not fixing it. But, like, what's alarming to me is how it's getting out. Like, how they're openly acknowledging that, like, there are locker room issues. Like, I know we're not getting details of what's happening, but I'm just shocked how open they are that it's not great. Like, I've never seen that.
Not me neither.
And so if they're saying it, imagine how bad it must be. Like, imagine how bad it must be behind the scenes if they're willing to give, to quote Jalen, a crumb. Like, then what else is going on?
No, you're right.
We don't know.
You're right.
So every time I talk, and I do think they're going to beat the Buccaneers, but, like, every time I talk myself and I like here's why I think they're gonna win. Here's where they're. I just think like they might just quit.
Yeah,
they legit might just go to Tampa and quit.
Well, I think you made a great point that the beginning of the game is incredibly important.
Everything.
Because I agree, if they go down like 10-0, over,
Yep,
cooked.
done.
But if they can go up 10-0, they still might lose because that's what they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
But they might not. I agree with you.
They could roll. Like if they get up 10-0.
I doubt they roll, but I get your point. Like Baker's not great, all that type of stuff. But all right, one more thing, and then if you have questions for us, if you're in the chat right now, we can't see you right now, but we love you. Start getting them in now. Tucker's going to compile some. We'll get to those in just a sec. I want to do one more thing, and then we'll get to the questions. So, Tucker, start doing some work, buddy. I like this bit of making a joke.
Yeah.
Tucker doesn't do anything.
Well, now
Tucker's great, okay? Just everyone know Tucker's great. I'm just messing around with
it. Little poking.
It's just a funny little bit.
Now, keep in mind, we're attaboys, so don't joke like that with us.
Yeah,
I think.
Don't you dare.
Yeah. Only positive
that's exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us we're great.
Yeah.
All right, last thing, and then we'll get some questions and then final thoughts. Last thing, the blitz pickup.
Yeah.
Because I think that has been it's funny because it does seem like throughout the year, even when they were 10-1, there was like issues with the team. And early on, we talked about penalties and red zone. And there's been like little things all year. And the blitz pickup has been around all year, but it is swelled to the point where it's like now it's the number one thing that people are talking about. And, rightfully so. I mean, to be this bad at it all year long and to look at that Giants game yet again, it feels like they have, and I know that he says they have a plan for blitz pickup. It seems like they have no plan when you watch the offense. Or it's Jalen. Like, look, it might be on Jalen too. Right. I think it goes both ways. But your take on the whole blitz thing, because they've been bad at it all year, but it seems like they've gotten worse.
Yeah, so I think, like, to start, I just logically can't wrap my head around the idea that they don't have a plan against the blitz. Like, think about who we're talking about.
Well, so Richie's, like, their plan is have Jalen make a guy miss, and then play.
But
it's not like a plan.
I don't think that's their plan. Maybe it is.
Well, whatever they have isn't working.
Right.
So whatever it is, new plan.
Okay, so I think there's three different aspects of like any play, but especially with a blitz pickup. There's the plan that you have throughout the week. There's the offensive line executing, picking everybody up, and then there's what the quarterback does with the ball. And then the fourth part would be like where the receivers are on the field. Are they turning around?
There's a lot of complex parts to it.
But I was saying, let's quickly go through each, right? Just quickly. One, and Jordan Mailata talked about this last night, I think this offensive line is having problems picking up blitzes. He said last night that, and he's talked about it before when they played the Giants, like Wink Martindale, who is very good at it for what it's worth, sends exotic blitzes.
Todd Bowles also good at it.
Yeah, Todd Bowles. Look, the Bucs do two things that are going to hurt the Eagles.
Yeah.
One, they're really good at blitzes, and two, they have the third best red zone defense in the NFL. So all year, Eagles, trouble blitzes, trouble scoring in the red zone. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but so Jordan Mailata has talked about it, and so has Landon Dickerson when he's been on the Players Lounge. Like, I think this offensive line, the players are having trouble picking up blitzes. I think
so. Is that on? I mean, it's on multiple people, but Sirianni, Stoutland,
it's on everybody.
Yeah,
like it's on Kelsey, right? It's on, and now again, I think they're a good offensive line, but I've heard Jordan and other offensive linemen talk too much about the problems they're having with exotic blitzes. Not to think that you can have a great plan against the blitz, but if the offensive line is messing up protection and guys are getting through on sides, if they're not, like, the plan is gone.
Yeah, then you just run.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it, right? I think the other part of it is Jalen does not get rid of the ball quickly. He just doesn't. And against the blitz, that's an especially big problem. Like, look, I don't know enough about X's and O's, and I trust, like, Brian Baldinger and, like, Richie and guys like that. So I'll take their word for it that when they say the routes are too long developing, that factors into it. I know when I watch it, I see guys that look.
But the
like
problem is, but those guys aren't looking yet.
But here's
that's
my
the
thing
problem. These guys, like, we've had multiple times where it's like they'll show these things, the blitz, and there's guys whose head they're running routes,
right?
And their heads are not facing Jalen Hurts. So, like, you're not gonna throw it to the back of a guy's head. You have to have some sort of plan where it's like you give a receiver who is looking at Jalen Hurts.
So that is definitely part of it for sure. And we've talked about in the Super Bowl how that was a problem.
Yeah.
Now, but I think there are also times where Jalen has to throw the ball with anticipation. Like, Jalen has to know before the snap, and this is another part of it. Like, Jalen needs to be better recognizing where the blitz is coming.
For sure.
And that's on Kelsey,
no
the offensive
question.
line, too.
It's on both.
But, like, and
Sirianni coaching it, it's the whole thing.
Right. It's everybody. The blitzing is everybody.
Everybody.
The only thing I disagree with is they have a plan. Like, I just don't like when people go their plan.
That's fine, but you you know that like the point is like
it's not a good plan.
So then they don't have a plan. It's the point.
Right.
It's like having like if you have what's that phrase? If you have two something, you have zero of them.
Right.
You know
Two
what I mean?
quarterbacks, you don't have one.
Hey,
If you have two,
sure,
but-
exactly.
yeah.
Yes, that idea. Like it's that. So like they might. I'm sure that look, they're not going in saying like, well, if he blitzes, just figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I get
Right.
that.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but I
okay.
think the point is like whatever you're doing not working, you
Yeah.
have to adjust.
Right.
Like, you can't. I think the issue is not like that. Yes, I'm sure they're trying something, but like after 18 weeks of it not working, like guess what? Then maybe you have to keep another guy back, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, or have hot routes, or have a a player who's designated on certain places, like he's in the flat and he's just there, like whatever it is, like do something.
Well, and this is where it gets to one of the core of our disagreements, but also Nick has talked about it. I think Nick's true when he says it. Ultimately, it is on him to find a blitz pickup plan that his players can execute.
Agree.
Now, look, his players need to be better at executing
doubt.
it. But ultimately, if it's been 18 weeks and he can't come up with a solution to fix the blitz, like, then sorry, like, you're not the man for the job. Like, they have to be better, right? So that's part of it. But also, like, Jalen, I don't think makes good decision against him. I think he's too quick to leave the pocket. You see it even when he's clean pockets.
I agree. It was something that was an issue early, and we felt like he had gotten away from that, and it's come back
step
this
up
year.
in the pocket. There's
never steps up.
There's times where like I think he bails too early and it messes the play up, and I think against the blitz it's especially detrimental because if he escapes to the side, like there's no one there. Like I saw a few times where he rolls to the right and everyone's on the left side of the field. So like I think the blitz thing is a major problem, and I don't think it's something that they can correct.
Oh, they're not correcting
like
it now.
Especially not by next week.
Yeah.
Like now maybe next season they do.
Oh, well, they're better by next season. You get
but
me?
I think it's where I only push back on, and not push back on you, but on the general sentiment is I think the players are just as much to blame for the issues with the blitz as the coaches are.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. I think like, yeah, I mean I don't blame. Yeah, I mean I like for the most part. Yeah, I would say I agree.
Jalen just has to be better he's got to be better. Like I was debating this with my friend yesterday. Maybe this is a topic for tomorrow, but just something to think over in the comment section. Like, how many quarterbacks do you think have had a better season than Jalen this year? 7?
Yeah, something like that.
So, like, I don't know, man. I think we both would have been disappointed coming in the year. We so openly acknowledged that there were, like, 7 or 8 quarterbacks that had better years than him.
Sure.
And I think, like, we
again,
can talk about
not
this,
to be fair,
that.
not to be fair, just to be fair. And I agree with this. I'm
Right.
not, like, there are very few quarterbacks who had great years. Like really none, other than like Lamar.
But he's still like it.
No. Yeah, he is. But I'm saying like I think 2 through 8 is like really close. Is my point. Like I don't think like Brock Purdy had a better year than Jalen. It's not like he was like so much better than Jalen. Like Dak Prescott absolutely had a better year than Jalen. I wouldn't say he was like so much better than Jalen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would say Lamar is the only quarterback I would say that guy was way
And
better.
Lamar had stretches where he was not great.
True.
But yeah. No,
so
I
do
that's
think you
fair.
just have
like,
to take context into account. But again, the main point holds. I'm not arguing. Jalen has disappointed this year. There's no other way around.
Yeah, and I think but that's also reason for hope. You know, cause
absolutely.
Because to your point, if 2 through 8 isn't that big of a gap, and I think you're right about that, then he can be the second best quarterback in the NFL for the playoffs.
No doubt.
And if you have that,
anything can happen.
It matters.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. All right, let's get some questions. Tuck.
Yeah, so we got a lot of people in the chat.
Shout out to everybody.
A lot of questions
Wish
for you
we
guys.
could see
Love
the names.
everybody. You don't have to ask like a million questions. You know,
yeah.
No,
like
I'm only
3 or 4.
gonna ask a couple.
Maybe about 500,000 questions.
We only have 400,000 questions.
Yeah,
so
nice.
we won't be able to
we'll
make
be here,
it there.
We'll be here till kickoff.
But
Fritz is outside waiting to record high
Oh,
hopes.
is
like,
he?
No.
he's
I'm
like
just
pacing
like,
back and forth.
staring
He's so
in.
antsy
Yeah.
to talk
is
about
he
the
here
hot
already, though?
stove.
Yeah, we can't wait to do episode. Well, that's boring. Part 4. For
I know.
High hopes.
Well,
That'd be
welcome to
great.
Clap Your Hands.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, at least you have games. I got nothing. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So Chris from OC wants to know,
Oh,
I
our
knew
guy.
I knew it was gonna be.
Shout out
yeah,
to Christopher. Love you, buddy.
what do you think DeAndre Swift commands on the open market?
Wow.
Do you think he comes back?
I was not expecting
Not
that
expecting
question.
that. I think it's a great question. I do think he comes back.
I don't.
I do not think he's going to get a lot of money.
I don't think he's getting a lot of money, but I think he'll get more than the Eagles will.
I think he'll want to stay. They'll make it work. That's my prediction.
I don't know. Possibly. I mean, only if he gets nothing out there. The point is, Chris, I think at best, he gets $5 million a year from someone at best,
Well,
and I don't think it will be.
Let's use this number. Miles Sanders got $12 million guaranteed.
That's what I mean.
More or
$12 million
less.
guaranteed. So yeah, I think we get less on the open market than DeAndre Swift does, or than Miles Sanders, but only because I think the Miles Sanders contract was a massive mistake.
Absurd. Yeah. Okay, but I think he's back. Is my guess.
Okay, good. I think he's not back.
Terrence wants to know, do you think it's dramatic if the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni coming up?
Yes,
to the Super Bowl?
yes. The guy went went to the Super Bowl last year. Like, what? Of course,
100%.
It's insanely dramatic.
Show some.
Again, they were 10-1 this year. Like, I know they had issues to 10-1, but like, come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, yeah, I think if nothing else, every other city in freaking the NFL, every other league, every other team looks at us and goes like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's pretty
And again,
wild.
I'm just curious how the top coaching candidates would view firing them.
I think this is not being said enough. Like, if you're talking about like wanting to get Jim Harbaugh or whoever the hell it is, like
Ben Johnson,
you don't think they're looking at him being like, well, hold on a second. Fired the guy the year after he went to the Super Bowl and he made the playoffs. Like, why would I ever go there? Why would I ever go?
Or
there?
you go there knowing like the ice
That's
is
what
thin
I mean.
from when
like
you
you're
step
going
in.
It's insanity. Whereas you could go to a team like the Chargers. They get Brandon Staley 3 years. He's like the worst coach we've ever seen.
He was terrible
like,
forever. Yeah. Good question.
That
is crazy though. Real quick, just think about it, because Staley and Sirianni got hired at the same time, and I was wrong. I thought Staley was.
And they could get fired at the same time.
That's what I'm saying though.
Wow.
And think about what Brandon Staley did. And granted, he got fired in season, but still, like how horrendous Brandon Staley was with 3 years with the Chargers, and what Nick has done in 3 years, and they're talking about firing him too.
And
like,
not to mention Brandon Staley's defense is terrible. Nick's offense, for whatever we think about, has been a top 10 unit, like without
and
question.
Last year was
you could argue top
amazing.
5 since he's been here. But
it's just yes, it is incredibly dramatic.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think there's another city in the country that would be doing.
I said this. I agree. Yeah.
But I do think that's interesting, and someone else brought it up in the chat. Like, if they fire Nick Sirianni, and it's not something that they've been prepared to do, are they behind the 8 ball in their coaching search?
So I was thinking about this morning because you see,
they
they're for sure.
There's like
now,
6 other teams that are. I mean, there were like 3 teams that fired their coaches in season. Like, think about how much of a head start they had.
Doug too.
Well,
they waited like a week to fire
lucky.
Doug.
Like, just
and they got the.
And the same thing with
They
Sirianni.
got
Same
the
thing.
worst
Yes,
candidate
and
on
that's
the
the point. It's like they might have hired. Nick might have been a good hire, but they didn't have their choice.
Right.
And you always want to have your choice. Like whether or not Jeffrey's good at it, which it seems like he is. Like he still wants to be able to choose from the biggest swath of potential coaches. And if you're taking people off the market, being like, well, I'd rather go somewhere else. Like, why?
Well, and this is why I think they can't make their decision based off Monday. Because if they think Nick's not the answer, then they have to already be doing work on like who's available, who do we like. Like if you actually go into the stadium on Monday and decide to fire Nick based off that,
that'd be a malpractice.
It would be very poorly run organization.
Totally agree. Yo, one more talk, or is that it?
I mean, someone else asked, have you ever lost your temper working with Joe DeCamara?
Yes, many times. Yeah,
really? That doesn't strike me.
Of course, oh my God, you never heard Salty Seltzer? Yeah, sometimes Joe annoys me so much that I just get very salty with him, and I guess it's all in good fun. Like I love Joe; he's a great guy. But yes, absolutely. Like there are days where I'm like, I will yell at him. I will get super pissed off. Yeah, of course.
Well, look, like, and I think we have those days too. Yeah. But like, I just don't picture you flipping out.
No, it's not like I yell and curse or whatever.
Exactly.
But there are days where I get annoyed and all that. I have a bit of I can have a bit of like a quick twitch, get angry.
Well, look, it's like with Nick. Like that's why
you
you're
Nick
like
are the same person.
Like
I know.
The great thing about you is your emotional intelligence and you're like, but then there's like with Nick, like it's a flip.
Oh, it's a flip.
I'm like that too, where like it is very clear when I'm not into something. I'm not good at hiding.
I'm good at staying calm. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Like Emily always jokes, she's like, don't ever play cards. Yeah. Like you are like an open book. And I am.
One time, so I don't even really know the rules to poker, but I did play one time because you know me, just doing.
Why not? Yeah.
And I got a hand that was so good, I literally started laughing and was unable to stop. I've never played since.
That's so great. What a good story. All right, let's do some final thoughts for you.
All right, so I have 2, and you can choose. One is like I
love this. I was going to do 2 because I felt like I teased my one yesterday, and it's really not that.
I'm actually going to do the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, so you're going to save one?
Yeah, I'm going to save the one I was going to think.
I'm just going to do 2 again.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to just drop really quick a Flyers take.
Oh yeah, do it, buddy.
All right. This Cutter Gauthier, whatever his name is. All right. Now, I'll preface this by saying, didn't even know it existed 24 hours ago.
Yes.
But that being said, I have a strong opinion on it.
I'm shocked.
Like, why are they trading this guy? Because he doesn't want to come here. They own his rights till 2026. He was just a top pick. It seems like he's a really good center that scores goals. Like, look, I know I'm a simple man, but that seems like an important part of hockey. They traded him for, like, a defenseman that's had injury issues, that granted is young and has played a lot of games, but has been a disappointment as a prospect from what I read about him. And, like, they're spinning it as, well, he didn't want to be a Flyer, so he's not going to be a Flyer. Chalk that. Like, you own his rights for 2 years. Sam Hinkie wouldn't do this. Could you imagine if Howie Roseman, and I know it's different. I acknowledge it's different. But Howie would not be bullied like this, in my opinion. Like, it took Carson to really, like, Carson bullied him a little, but there is no shot Howie Roseman or, in my opinion, I know Sam Hinkie would not trade him. Like, what is this? Like, you got 2 years. I know they're better than they expected, but hold on to this guy. So that's hockey.
Yeah,
talk.
here's the thing. I think
I don't care if he doesn't want to be.
No, I get it. I think that the way you look, the argument for the other side is that as soon as it's public knowledge that he doesn't want to be here, it is going to be much, much harder to trade him. So I think
I disagree with that. Because here's why. If he's really the prospect everyone thinks he is, then multiple teams will line up for him.
Regardless, the point is you have less leverage. Like, there's no way you have less. Like, if teams
Yeah, okay,
know
it's fair.
that, like, you automatically have less leverage the moment that's out to the world. Now, granted, the team they were trading with probably knew, so it feels like that leverage was gone to begin with.
Yes.
And look, I think you got to dig the Flyers for taking a guy who don't want to be here. Like, I know you said he did before, but like, that's on you guys evaluating him as a prospect. You got to know that there's this kind of kid might not be able to handle it or might whatever. But look, I don't hate your take, but I'm fine with them getting rid of the kid.
And also, like, Tortorella or Torts going up to
Torts.
going up and being like, I don't know him from a hole in a wall. Like, let's be adults here. Like, I mean, seriously, what is this?
You coming at Torts?
I don't know him from a hole in the wall.
Coming at Torts.
Like, get up there and be like, look, I wish nothing but the best for the kid. I've met him. He seems
I think Torts was being like, earmuffs, 1, 2, 3. Fuck him.
Yeah, but I don't.
Good
I
job.
Don't,
Fuck him.
I don't think
that's my official take on Connor Gauthier. Fuck him.
Yeah, but guess what? They're not
That's
like
my official take.
They're not like a hockey club in like in Philly. Yeah, you like that? Like
No.
they're a professional organization. Like I just
organization.
Yeah, I didn't like that coming from him. I don't like that they traded him. I think people are they played it perfectly because everybody's all, if he doesn't want to be a Flyer, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Like, all right, great guys, and you guys lost like this great prospect that just had a great tournament. I think it was a massive mistake.
Okay.
2-1-5.
All right, good. I like that. All right. So are you going to do your other one too?
Sure, I'll do it.
So I'll do my combo from yesterday. I said I'm going to do a combo. It's really not. The more I thought, it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do two. But just as it's more of a PSA that, if you ever have to clean, which some of us are forced to do sometimes, usually by our wives.
Yes.
listen to music while you're cleaning.
I agree.
No
Dude,
offense to pods.
it's
so much
lightens
better,
the
right? Like,
mood.
it's like,
It makes it feel like
everything.
a fun activity.
You're like into it. You're moving around. Like, you
100%.
don't notice how long it is. And I
Yep,
love
yep.
podcasts. Like, listen to us, obviously, always. But like when you're cleaning, like,
It'd be funny if someone
music's
was
the way to go.
listening right now.
I know,
while
and they're
they were
cleaning,
cleaning.
right? It's like, oh, cool.
But it is
switch
true.
over.
Like, so before New Year's Eve, we had people over on New Year's Eve, and we spent the day cleaning the house, and we put music on, and it was like,
It changes
it
everything.
made me want to clean more.
Thank
I was
you.
like, oh, I'll go down in the basement and sweep.
This went better than I expected
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree with you 100%.
All right, good.
All right. So Kristen has started to do this in a fun way, but I actually think I'm going to bring it back. I think I'm going to bring back Talk to the Hand.
Really? I like that.
I think it's good. It's like
Talk to the hand.
just a quick little, like, you're doing a big, whoa, first of all, talk to the hand because you're wrong about this. Or like, and granted, I have to be careful where I do it because it's also very rude to like, put your hand up and be like, talk to the hand. But I think it's like a good one. That we
Okay,
don't
so
use
this is
enough.
good. I'm going to jump around to a different one then, and I'll save one for tomorrow because my other one's very good, I think.
All right.
It's an Is This Weird, which we'll get to tomorrow. I want you to tell me if I'm weird. But I actually, one of my other ones, I want to use the phrase shut up, nerd, more. Shut up, nerd. It's great.
I like it.
So, like, boom.
I like it. I
Shut
think
up,
it's
nerd.
It's a little more rude, I think. Than
It's
Talk to the
great.
Hand. Yeah. It's it. Yeah.
Oh, it is more rude.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I
Right.
agree. Talk to the hand is like, all right, sure. Like, shut up, nerd is like, whoa, you got
Yeah.
me.
I mean, look, I think you'll get people's attention.
Good. That's
I think
what I'm trying.
you'll
I'm telling
say
nerds
it,
to
and
shut
people will be
up.
like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
I think
I'm a nerd. It's okay, though.
Well, I think a Talk to the Hand would, like, either
People would laugh.
it would either completely like break the tension or it would take it to another level.
Yes.
But like I just think it'd be like
I just like shut up, nerd. It's so demeaning. It's just like shut up, nerd. No one cares.
it's like whoa,
I love it.
talk to the hand.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
guess what?
told you before. Earmuffs 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to use fuck off more. Just like a
It's a
fuck
risky
off. All
move
right.
by you.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
I always think of Logan Roy when I'm saying like fuck off.
Yeah, I could see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like talk to the hand because the face don't want to hear.
Yeah. You can't go to the next.
I
step.
don't know. I
You
think I
can't
might bring
finish
that
it.
part back.
You
too.
can't finish it. No.
I'm gonna drop it at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Not
how
on
it
the air. I'm gonna do it on the
goes.
podcast.
Let me know
yeah.
how it goes
I
when you
will.
do it. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine I'll ever actually say this to somebody.
yeah.
the most I'll ever say
No.
it to
You
you
have to
is-
do it in person. You have to do it to somebody in person. Like,
Yeah.
Talk to the hand.
All right. Maybe
They say
like
listen.
if I see a real one somewhere.
My Lada. Do it to my Lada
No,
next
I'm
time.
not
you see
gonna
him.
do it to my Lada.
In the middle of the show.
It is so funny when I'm sitting next to my Lada. He's bigger than me.
No, really.
It's not as
When he
apparent.
stands up,
But
it's
then
like,
when we
wow.
stand up and say
Yeah.
bye and he hugs me, it's like, man, you are just
So much bigger.
so
than
much
me.
bigger.
Yeah.
And I'll never be that big.
No. No, it's over.
It's
buddy.
not like maybe one day I'll
I mean, they have
experience
those surgeries now. You can extend your legs and stuff.
I would have to have my
Like
complete,
Stilts guy over there.
I would have to have a
Put on,
complete
like, pack
body.
on some pounds. Stilts guy, you're there.
Yeah, true. Maybe can you imagine if I came up in stilts one time just to do the talk to the hand right in his face. With the tension in the locker room, I don't know if that's the move.
Probably not the time.
yeah,
For that,
so I'll probably stay away.
Wait
from
till
that.
they go on a run and then have
Wait till
some
they
fun.
beat Tampa.
That's right.
I'll go in the locker and be like, yeah, talk to the hand.
Talk to the end.
Yeah.
Face.
Doesn't want to hear it.
It ain't listening,
Yeah,
buddy. All
yeah,
right. It's good. All right. No, there's a good spot there. All right. We'll be back tomorrow with more of this. I don't know if that's going to bring people back or not. But I hope
Well,
it
thank you
does.
to people that did watch.
Yeah, and shout out to everyone in the chat.
Yes.
It's awesome. We really appreciate it. You're making Tucker's day better.
Yeah.
He's got no work to do anyway,
I was
so he's
gonna
just
say,
hanging
yeah.
out. You can read.
What else would I be doing?
Tucker, tell him to shut up, nerd.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, shut up, nerd.
Shut up, nerd.
Talk
There
to
you
the
go.
hand.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back tomorrow.